Hey everyone! Today I have a fun video for you. I went to 5 different dessert shops. 3 of them had a drive-thru and 2 of them we had to go inside for. If you haven't seen my previous video where I went to 6 different drive-thrus and rated the menu design, the customer service, and how I was able to access the menu as someone who's visually impaired, go ahead and check out that video after this one. I'll be doing the same scoring system here. So it'll be 2 points for the menu design, 2 points for customer service, 2 points if they have a braille or large print menu, 2 points if they have any type of printed menu for me to use, and the last 2 points is looking at their online mobile or web menu. If it's accessible with voiceover is one thing I took into account along with the design. Now let's go ahead and go to the first dessert shop. My name is Angela and I'm a visually impaired designer. Hey, we're here going to our first place and I have some friends here.
I'm Megan.
I'm Abigail.
And I'm Eliza.
So delicious. We approach the drive-thru window.
Hi, I have a quick question before I order. Okay. Do you happen to have a large print or braille menu?
Sorry?
A large print or braille menu.
We don't. I'm so sorry.
Do you have a printed menu?
We don't.
Alright, the first dessert place was a soda shop called So Delicious, which is a local shop that has soda and cookies. So Delicious has a drive-thru and so we went through that. When we approached the menu, I was actually quite impressed with the design of the menu. It's very simple. It used a simple sans serif font. The typography was all pretty large and easy to read. The only thing I struggled with for the menu design was half of it has a red background with white text and the other side was white background with red text, and it's a little hard to read when you're trying to read red text, and a red background can also be a little hard on the eyes when trying to read it. So Delicious did not have a braille or large print menu. In fact, they didn't have any type of menu that was printed for us to look at, and when we asked for a menu, they weren't really willing to try to help us in any way. They were nice and courteous, but simply just told us that they didn't have anything, which is why I gave them a score of 1 out of 2 for customer service and 0 for not having a printed or braille or large print menu. When I went and looked at their online menu, I thought that they did a pretty good job overall. Things were legible. I was able to use voiceover for it. The only reason why I docked some points was because when using voiceover, it had some weird things that were being said, like image and tag, some things that don't really make sense. And so cleaning up that a little bit so that it's more accessible with voiceover would be helpful. So that gives So Delicious a total of 4.5 points. Krispy Kreme's drive-thru.
Welcome to the Kreme. What can I get for you today?
Hi, we have a visually impaired person in the car and we were wondering if you have a large print or braille menu.
Sorry, what was that?
Do you have a large print or braille menu?
We not.
Alright, so the next place we went to was Krispy Kreme, and this is a donut shop. So we went to get some donuts. Their menu for the drive-thru was very difficult to read. It was just very small text and it didn't really have an easy layout to follow. It just had a ton of things on it and was kind of hard to navigate. I was not personally able to read it from the car at all, and I would have had to ask someone to read it to me or kind of describe what was on the menu. And so for the menu design, I gave it a score of 1.25 because I couldn't read it, but it did have a clean, high contrast design. Krispy Kreme also didn't have any type of large print or braille menu for me. They didn't have any type of printed menu at all. So they got 0s on both of those. And then for customer service, once again, I gave them a 1. They were polite when we said, do you have a menu? But they didn't provide any type of assistance like, let me read you the menu or what type of things are you interested in. That's the kind of thing I would hope someone would do when they don't have a printed menu. Krispy Kreme got a 1.75 as well for their online menu. Once again, they had a pretty decent online menu. It worked for the most part with voiceover, but I did dock off 0.25 because there was some weird HTML stuff going on as well on this website. So that gives Krispy Kreme's a total of 4 points. Now the next place was Starbucks. I do have to tell you that this is where I was most excited to go because I had heard in the news and talking with people that they have created a braille large print menu just for people who are visually impaired. So I wanted to see if my local shop had already received their copy. So let's see what happened when I went there. Starbucks drive-thru.
Hi, welcome to Starbucks. What can I get started for you today?
Hi, we have a visually impaired person in the car, and we were wondering if you have a large print or braille menu.
Sorry, one more time?
We have a visually impaired person in the car, and we were wondering if you have a braille or large print menu.
If we have like a kids menu?
Braille or
A
large...
braille menu. I'm so sorry. Yes, we do. You can go ahead and just head to the window for that.
Alright, thank you.
Yeah, of course.
We pulled up and looked at the braille and large print menu. The menu has both the large print and braille matching up with each other, and because of this, they were overlapping and it made it a little difficult to see the large print with all the shadows from the braille dots. So I thought it was interesting that even though they have a large print and braille menu, they had a hard time understanding us when we requested it in our car. They were not really used to people asking, it seemed like, and we're just not sure what we were saying. So maybe not a lot of people are aware of it, and so maybe it's just not being used a lot. So if you can't guess, Starbucks got a super good score. So for their menu design, they got a 1.5. The menu was a little hard to read because the text was small and it had a lot of things on the menu, so it made it hard to kind of figure out where things were and to know what I wanted to order. I did appreciate that it had a clean background and there was good contrast between the text and the background as well. I simply just couldn't read it because it was too small. It also was a little dirty, which obstructed me from being able to see the menu. Starbucks got a 2 for having a braille and large print menu. It also got 2 points because it had a printed menu at all, which is yay, so fantastic, makes me so happy. Then they also got a 2 out of 2 for their online and mobile menu. When I got onto their online menu, I was very impressed. The voiceover worked great. It said everything properly. It's easy to see on the mobile device. It has it so you can zoom in and out if needed, and everything was crisp, clear, easy to read, high contrast. So that was great to see their online menu like that. They clearly have done some work to make it screen reader friendly, which is super fantastic. They also got a 2 out of 2 for customer service. Let me tell you a little bit about why. So when we got there, once they finally realized we were asking for a braille or large print menu, they asked us to pull up to the window. And there was this young man who helped us, who was so nice, so polite, and just very helpful. He made us feel comfortable by telling us that we could take as long as we needed. I asked him if he preferred if we pulled up and then went through the drive-thru again so we weren't making other people behind us wait. And he let us know that we were totally fine staying there and that we had the right to take as long as anyone else would on the typical printed menu that they post. He also was super nice and helpful at taking my order, and it was just a very pleasant experience when it came to customer service. So that gives Starbucks a 9.5 out of 10, which is huge! So exciting! Next stop, Handel's Ice Cream. Here's a shot of their menus. We went inside, but it was too loud to record asking for a menu. Here we show them scooping our ice cream for us. Okay, so let's move to the next place, and this is a ice cream shop that is called Handel's. It's a local shop, and they have really good ice cream, so I was excited to go there. They even have some dairy-free options. For their menu design, they got a 2 out of 2, and that's because it was easy to read. It had pretty large print. Even reading from afar, I could read pretty much anything. They got a 0 for not having any type of printed menu at all. So that also means they got a 0 for not having a braille or large print menu. They got a 1 out of 2 for their online menu because it was not accessible with voiceover at all. They had lots of things that were a problem when I was trying to use the voiceover. I couldn't really navigate it like you should be able to. Also on their online menu, they had a lot of pictures and stuff that kind of filled up the page and made it so it was more than just the menu. And so it made it really hard to navigate and know exactly what parts of it was the menu. And I had to kind of sift through to find the menu items as I was looking at it, which I didn't really love. I know they're trying to give like a specific like feeling or emotion when getting on the website, like, ooh, this place is fun and exciting. But when I'm trying to look at the menu, that's not really what I'm worried about. For customer service, they got a 1.5 out of 2. And that's because they weren't really able to help me by having a printed menu or anything like that. They were a little bit more willing to try to help. They asked maybe what type of things that I would want to try and asked a little bit about what maybe I would be interested in. And so I gave them a 1.5. But they were a little unsure how to help us. And so that's why I gave them a 1.5 instead of a 2. This gives Handel's a 5.5 total score out of 10. Crumbl Cookies. Here's an overall view of their shop with their menu on a monitor. We tried out their self-serving ordering station on a tablet mounted to the wall. The last place that we went to was Crumbl Cookies. This is a little shop that sells cookies. They usually have about 6, I think, at one time. The cookies are massive, and usually I can't eat a whole cookie when I get one from there. All right, so for the menu design, it got a 2 out of 2. And it just had a simple design that was easy to read. It had black text with a white background. The one downside of their menu, which I didn't decide to dock for, but it's something to keep in mind, is their menu was a screen menu. And so it can have glares and make it a little hard to see at different angles. It was like a matte screen, so that seemed to be helping, although it was nighttime when I went. So it could be more difficult to see if there was sun glaring on it. But overall, the menu design worked really well. It was clean and sleek. It's simple and easy to read. So this was one of the places we went inside to. We weren't able to get any footage of us going inside, but this place had something unique that no one else had. They had iPads that had the menus where you could scroll, you could order on your own and then pick up the cookies, or they had the option to talk to a cashier who could help you order your cookies as well. I gave them a 1 out of 2 for a printed menu because sure, it's not an actual physical menu that I can hold and read, but it was a menu that I could take my time reading, that I could be as close as I needed to, and was right there for me to use. So I wanted to give them credit for that, and I didn't really have a category for it, so I put it in as 1 point for a printed menu. They got a 0 out of 2 for a braille or large print menu because they didn't have that. And then they got a 1 out of 2 for their online menu because it was not accessible with voiceover and it had some issues with the HTML and everything as well. One cool thing about Crumbl was because their menu is so small and they just have like 6 cookies to choose from and then a couple of drinks, they have the cookies made and sitting in front of you when you're ordering so that you can see what they look like without having to look at pictures or something. And this makes it easier for me to see if it's something that looks appealing or that I would want to actually eat. For customer service, I gave them a 1.5 because they didn't have a full way of really helping me. They were super nice and answered questions, but they didn't really put in any effort after I asked them if they had a printed menu for someone who's visually impaired to try to help me and be able to figure out what I wanted. That gives Crumbl Cookie a total of 5.5 points. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the overall scores. With the highest amount of points, we have Starbucks, and they came in with a big whopping 9.5 points. Woo! We gotta just celebrate that for a second. In second place, we have a 5.5 for Crumbl Cookie. And then we have a 4.5 for both So Delicious and Handel's ice cream. And then the lowest score was a 4 for Krispy Kreme donuts. Now overall, most of the scores were super low, other than Starbucks, because they didn't really have any type of printed menu. Overall, they also could improve some of their website accessibility and how they kind of talk with people who ask for accommodations in their shops. I hope you enjoyed this video. Give it a big thumbs up if you enjoyed it so I know to make more like this. Comment below any suggestions for other types of places we can go and check out their menus. And I hope that you all have a fantastic week. Bye!